Welcome to a new episode of the Calcio Guys with Adriano DiNardo. I'm Nicholas Di Giovanni. So much action in the Serie A this weekend. I mean, did you catch it all, Adriano?
Well, I try my best. You know what? It's always an exciting weekend when you speak about Serie A. So, I caught most of the games that I was able to. Milan game, obviously. But, I try to catch as much as I could.
So, Fiorentina-Sampdoria, that easily has to go down with the game of the week. So, we're going to be talking about that real soon.
Okay.
But I wanted to start off with some of the weirder news of the week.
Yeah.
Or most surprising, let's say. Most surprising.
Yeah, so...
Kevin-Price Boateng goes to from Sassuolo to Barcelona.
You know what? It's called Mercato Madness for a reason, and this just goes and proves it to you. You know what? We were discussing before. It came out of the blue. It was a transfer legit out of the woodwork that... I don't even think many sources or many of the good sources even would have seen coming either. So, that was pretty shocking, I would think. So he's joining Barca on a 6-month loan. And then I think option to buy later on after that. So, we'll have to see. It was just, a complete shock, and one that it happened also just so quick, like finalizing it. Like it got brought up into the media and it was finished with not much news surrounding it. So it was pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, it really was out of left field and not something anybody really could have seen. Kevin-Price Boateng has had a good season for Sassuolo. He's done a really good job, kind of surprised everybody, but is he really going to have an impact at Barcelona?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We were saying, and we're just, thinking out loud. It was kind of like, what does a guy like Boateng bring to Barcelona? Besides depth, like nothing taken away from Kevin-Price Boateng. He's a fantastic player. He's been fantastic throughout his career. He's had his ups and downs. He's been to many teams there, but I think he's obviously still a good player. He was on a Sassuolo team that, that I think he could have given more to a team like Sassuolo than obviously Barcelona, me personally. But I don't know. They must have seen something that, they liked in his play that, they can bring him over to Barcelona. And, hopefully, he gives them, some sort of help there. But, for him, it's an opportunity, I guess, of a lifetime. He said that he told Sassuolo that, this is something or an opportunity that he couldn't really pass up. So, I guess it meant something for him, and we'll have to see how he does.
Speaking about transfers, it's a transfer month. We've been talking a lot about that on our past few shows. And Stefano Okaka, we never really brought up his name. He scored his first goal for Udinese coming back to the Serie A.
Yeah.
And then Luis Muriel, he comes back to the Serie A in style.
Look at that from Muriel. And again, and he's trying to do it all himself. He's trying to take down his old team. He shoots and he scores! Luis Muriel. Well, he should celebrate that goal. It was an absolute masterclass from the Colombian, and there is most definitely a new hero in town.
Definitely in Florence. Luis Muriel scores a double against Fiorentina.
Sampdoria.
Sorry, for Fiorentina against Sampdoria. In my head, I'm still thinking
he's at Samp.
He's at Samp. Do you remember what we talked about this game last week?
Yeah, I do. We were saying that, maybe besides the Napoli-Lazio game, this would probably be one of the bigger games.
I actually have the clip. Let's listen back to it.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Fiorentina-Sampdoria. That's actually a good game. That's one I'm excited about between Stefano Pioli, Marco Giampaolo.
Yeah, mid-table.
For coaches, mid-table / Europa League. Mm-hmm. This one's in Florence. That could be under radar. It could be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, maybe even, what we maybe think now the Napoli-Lazio game of the week, I would maybe even put Fiorentina-Sampdoria in terms of meaning also up there. There you go. You heard it there first. The Calcio Guys, baby.
We almost nailed it right on. Actually, in our predictions, you said 3-1 Fiorentina. Yeah. I said 3-2 Fiorentina. So we kind of got that part right. We knew it was going to be high scoring, but 3-3, just a wild game. Is this what we expected? It's a bit more than we expected.
Yeah, I think it's, as you said, it's what we expected and more. These are two, good teams. They're in the middle of the pack race, trying to get into Europe, and they're definitely putting on great displays. They've got players on both sides that are class. And they can definitely score, as we saw over the weekend. And Muriel, I think we both knew that he would be able to come back to Italy and perform. Did we think that he would get a brace on his debut? Maybe not there, but we know he can score. We know he can, produce in Italy. And I think, as we've said before, Italy is the league, or the Serie A is the league that I think he can do the most damage in. So it was great to see, and it was also great to see, Quagliarella on the other side getting a double himself.
After he scored the penalty to tie it up 2-2 in the 80th minute, a couple of minutes later, he did this.
Oh, Quagliarella to finish it off. It is simply brilliant from Quagliarella, and he's won it here at the end. Absolute heartbreak for Fiorentina. Quagliarella with a brilliant solo effort. Gabbiadini's pass. He's got two defenders on him. Shrugs off Milenkovic. Thank you very much. Fiorentina 2, Sampdoria 3.
So that's actually now 10 straight games Fabio Quagliarella has scored in.
Yep.
He's one away from the record in the Serie A set by Gabriel Batistuta when he was actually with Fiorentina, which is 11. So if he scores this weekend, he's going to set the record. I mean, this has to be the story of the season in almost all of European soccer. Yeah,
I would think so. I mean, I think it's mainly because people probably didn't expect that to happen, maybe. A guy like Quagliarella, you know what, we mentioned the age, he's still scoring. I mean, you can't hate on that. I mean, he's just been producing. He's really, holding, the team on his back, and he's really carrying them game after game. So, I mean, he's doing well. I hope he can, tie Batistuta and even pass him eventually, and it would be great to see.
Chiesa on the turn. Surely not. Surely not. It's in the back of the net. Pezzella scores in injury time. Then Fiorentina are going to take a point from this match. Absolutely incredible conclusion to a most incredible game.
So Fiorentina did come back and tie that German. Pezzella scored his first goal of the season. The captain of Fiorentina took off the Davide Astori armband and kissed it. So nice little moment for the fans in Florence.
Yep.
But as you're saying, Quagliarella, now he has 14 goals.
Yeah.
And he's tied on top of the league lead with Ronaldo, who didn't score yesterday against Chievo, and Duvan Zapata,
who did score this weekend.
He scored quite a bit.
Yeah, 4 goals.
It's just been, he's another story. Let me just play a clip for you.
Absolutely.
Still with the Dea. Played back in. There is Zapata once more. He simply can't stop scoring. Duvan Zapata on the score sheet for the 7th consecutive league game.
That's just incredible. 7 games in a row. So he's quietly behind Quagliarella, 7 in a row instead of 10. Yeah. And he's tied on top of the league lead. He scored 4 against Frosinone. I mean, okay, albeit it is Frosinone, but 4 goals is still
4 goals.
It's 4 goals. It's miraculous.
It is. I mean, he's on the top, like you said, with Ronaldo and Quagliarella, and I think the scoring race is definitely heating up as we've seen, and from guys that maybe we wouldn't have expected. Maybe Ronaldo, okay, obviously, he's expected to score and he's expected to be up there in the scoring charts, but Zapata and Quagliarella, maybe not. Maybe people weren't really thinking that they would be able to get up there in the scoring charts, and maybe guys like Immobile, Icardi, that would replicate last year. But you know what? Honestly, it's refreshing to see. It's good to see, and I like to see different guys getting up there, and it's not always the same guys that are up there in those charts there. But it's just awesome to see, and I hope this can continue on for the rest of the season.
Out of those 3 early predictions, I mean, it's super tight right now.
It is.
18 games left. You see any of them?
And even
pulling away with the goal scoring lead?
I mean, I don't know. There's even Piontek that's at 13. That's a goal behind them. But just for the sake of, what it means and what it represents, I would probably say Quagliarella. I would hope for him to continue scoring. I mean, if he doesn't continue obviously consecutively, it doesn't matter. I think if he continues to score and continues to stay up atop of the scoring charts, that would be something amazing for his illustrious career that he's had. And Ronaldo's going to be there. I think he'll definitely continue scoring himself. He didn't score on the weekend, but he's just a world-class player, so I think he'll definitely be up there. But just for the sake of it, I think I'd rather see Quagliarella.
We have to take a short break. You're on the Calcio guys on the other side of the break. Roma just survives Torino, but squeaks away with the 3 points. You're listening to the Calcio guys on CJO 1690.
Essina helps it back into the mix. Zapata! A fab 4 from the Colombian. His red-hot scoring streak continues.
It's a clever routine. Lost their bearings. Good save by the goalkeeper. Zaniolo turns it in at the second attempt.
There's something special about young players with the name Nicolo in Italy right now. I'm pretty sure it's all in the name, Adriano.
Maybe. I don't know.
Between Barella and Zaniolo.
Yeah.
I mean, Zaniolo just... He's walking away, just showing everybody why he could be the next big star. The next big thing in Italian soccer right now. We saw his wonderful goal for Roma, where he's pretty much just on the ground and he scores against Torino.
Yeah, no, that was just a pure class. That's pure fight and will, and you want to score. You're hungry. You know what? I think he's 19 years old. You can see the fight in him. You can see the hunger, and you know what? He got a shot off. Fell down, recovered the ball on the ground. Twisted and managed to score a goal, which was just remarkable. A guy at his age, and he's only slowly getting into the lineup and hasn't gotten a shot before, I guess you can say. And now that he's on Roma, he's really getting the shot, and it's beautiful to see. It's great because he's another young guy, and he's in the midfield. So we kind of need that internationally too. So I mean, that would obviously help, and I'm glad to see that he's getting minutes at a team like Roma, where he can learn a lot and he can grow, and he's playing in Europe as well. So it's a lot of experiences at a young age, which I think will benefit him in the future.
I mean, his first start for Roma was in the Champions League.
Exactly.
At the Bernabeu.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Nobody else could really say they started off their career
at a stadium like that.
At a stadium like that and in a game like that in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. But no, he's been fantastic. Even Barella for Cagliari.
Yeah.
They're different style players. We've talked about Barella before, how good, how he's a more box-to-box midfielder. Zaniolo instead is more of a creative guy. He could join in on the attack.
Yeah. And
he's getting a lot more minutes this year. Pellegrini for Roma, his play I find is kind of dipped. So it's really kind of opened that door for Zaniolo. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to see what he can do. But Roma, they had the 2-0 lead against Torino, and then they blew it. And then El Shaarawy came away with a 3-2 win. You got to be happier for Roma that you got the 3 points, but a bit worrisome.
Yeah, no, I definitely do think so. I mean, as they say, the two-goal cushion in soccer is probably the worst lead in sports. They gives the team opportunity to come back, and we saw that over the weekend with Torino, getting 2 with Rincon and Ansaldi. Lucky for El Shaarawy there to a beautiful pass also that you mentioned. Pellegrini, he made the assist there on El Shaarawy's goal, which was great to see. It was a nice pass and nice finish by El Shaarawy. So I mean, it still is worrisome. We've mentioned obviously many times in the past the defense is shaky. And it just proves you there on the weekend, they're up 2-0, and they're still getting broken down like Torino, which is another team that is kind of up and down. So they definitely, as we said, got to fix that, and definitely got to hold on to leads better.
So moving forward now, we talked about Muriel's goal with his almost 3/4 field run. We didn't talk about Jorginho's goal. Let me just play that for you.
And now it's Gervinho heading towards the goal. He can't be pulled back. He can't be stopped. Can he score? He's got the goal at his mercy, and Gervinho puts it in the net. Classic Gervinho.
Classic Gervinho indeed for Parma against Udinese. I know we don't do this too much. Goal of the week. But out of those 2 runs by Gervinho and Muriel, which one was nicer?
That you really got me on the spot. I mean, I would probably say, as much as both of them were beautiful and like remarkable, with goals, runs, and stuff like that, I'm gonna go with the Gervinho goal. He just really kicked it back, old school, pure pace. That's what he's known for, and he got to finish at the other end, totally outrunning everybody. Fofana trying to get him, trying to pull on his shirt something to try to stop him. He would rather take the red than getting a shot on net, and he failed miserably because Gervinho's just that quick. He managed to get the goal as well, and it was great. I mean, on the other side, Muriel, that was another class goal, and But I'll give it to Gervinho. He got the goal and he got the winner for them as well. So
I'm going to say Muriel. Gervinho's was more speed, but Muriel was more pure raw talent.
Yeah.
It needed more dribbling. He uses power too, power and speed to blow by the 3 defenders in the midfield.
Well, he had his back to one of them, and he flicked the ball, and he just kept on running.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
exactly
nice.
The part where he just kind of pushed the ball ahead and just ran after that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want to teach kids when they're learning how to play. When you got that open field, kick the ball ahead, you run towards the ball.
Yeah.
And if you run with the ball too much, it's going to slow you down. And Muriel really showed us why he's a player I'm excited about. I know I said it when the transfer was official.
Yeah.
I'm excited that he's back in the Serie A. You said it before. This is his league where he excels in.
Yeah.
And Fiorentina is real lucky now. And we've talked about it before. Their attack is lethal. If I'm a defense,
I'm scared.
If I'm an opposing manager, I'm scared to go off against those guys, because even if they get subbed off, Muriel got subbed off for, I believe, Mirolas, and that's still a good player who's going to come on.
Mm-hmm.
If Simeone is not playing his best right now, but
nevertheless, if
he gets hot,
still class. Exactly. They get hot.
And if you're guarding one guy too much, it's going to leave the other guy open.
And they have guys, as you said, they have more than just one guy. Chiesa, Simeone, now Muriel, Miralas.
Piazza.
If he comes in, Piacatu. So even Benassi in the midfield, who can also score. So
he scored at the beginning.
Yeah, but they have many guys, and they're all young, they're all hungry, they're all quick, and they all can punish you if you leave them too much space. So it's definitely worrisome for opposing teams.
Well, the penalty is given and saved. Cristiano Ronaldo's penalty kick is saved by Sorrentino.
Stefano Sorrentino stopped a Cristiano Ronaldo penalty kick last night at the Juventus Stadium, which is just incredible. A 39-year-old goalie like Sorrentino stopping the best player in the world and one of the best at penalties. Not even Wojciech Szczesny was able to do that last year in the Champions League when Ronaldo took a penalty against him. That's just incredible to see for the veteran keeper.
For the veteran keepers, right? We've mentioned before, he's a beast. He has no fear. He's just there. He knows he's facing, as you said, one of, if not the best player in the world at the moment. And he took it and he made the save. He made a crucial save. Not really crucial save in terms of the game's result there, but I think more just morale and just self-achievement, I guess you can say. But the game did finish off 3-0 for Juve there, but I think Sorrentino still showed what he can do.
You want to go with MVP of the week, or you want to do yellow card, red cards first?
I don't know. It's up to you. I don't really care.
Let's start with the yellow card, red cards. So for me, it's tough. I'm gonna go give a yellow card actually to Roma for letting that 2-0 lead slip away, because that's a lead you shouldn't allow slip away, especially at home, especially in a season where you need to pick up points.
Yeah.
If that game finished 2-2, everybody would be talking about that, and it's just almost like an embarrassment for them to let that go. All due respect to Torino, right?
Yeah.
Good for Torino to come back, but
yeah.
If you're Roma, you really got to stop that. So that's a yellow card for me.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
You, Adriano?
For myself, I'm gonna have to give a card to the snakes over there at Inter. Another opportunity.
Yellow, you said?
No, you know what? Red. You
Red.
know why? Because it's too many times against Sassuolo that they can't manage to pick up something positive. I think in the last, 10 meetings, whatever they've gotten only 4 points. This dates back to 2015. So I don't know. I guess Sassuolo's always got their number, but they still haven't been able to, break that duct, I guess, against this Sassuolo team. And it finished 0-0. So for Sassuolo, that's a positive. For Inter, not as much, because they're still in that race there. To stick around in the top spots there. So, they would probably like to get those 3 points rather than the 1. So I'm going to have to give Inter a red card.
And it's a red card.
For me, my red card, I don't know if you heard it when Quagliarella scored the 3-2 goal. I'm just going to replay that sound bit for you.
Go for it.
Oh, Quagliarella to finish it off. It is simply brilliant from Quagliarella, and he's won it here at the end. Absolutely.
So there, you heard it. He won it here at the end. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves. So I'm not going to call it this commentator in particular. I don't know his name, but most soccer commentators, whenever there's a late goal, like this one in the 85th minute, and especially when it gives the team a lead, it's like, oh, game's over. That's it. The other team's not going to come back now, even though there's 6 minutes left and stoppage time, and Fiorentina
Managed to do it.
So listening back to that soundbite, it sounds a bit ridiculous. I remember, I think it was Roma when they played Torino back on Matchday 1.
Yeah.
They scored a goal right at the end, and the commentator said the exact same thing. And luckily for him, Torino didn't come back. But it doesn't make sense. It's such a like pessimistic view on the other team, on the game, especially when it's the road team that takes the lead, and it's like it's only one goal, and it's a 3-2 game
with time remaining.
Yeah. Why can't the other team come back? It's not sudden death overtime. The only time you should be saying that is when it's sudden death overtime.
Or that when the whistles blow.
Yeah, exactly. And sudden death overtime doesn't even exist in soccer.
Exactly.
So even like a 122nd minute goal in the Champions League final shouldn't put the game to bed technically, because as long as there's time remaining, there's always the possibility. So it's just almost like frustrating sometimes to listen to that. Like I said, it's pessimistic.
And we've seen it before in the Serie A. There's been late goals, so you know what? You can never count any guys out.
Especially Cagliari and Roma, when Cagliari scored twice in the final minutes, and like everyone thought, 2-0, down to 9 men, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, the Samp game also, Saponara.
Yeah, that too.
99th minute. So
I think the commentator again said when Immobile scored the penalty, game over.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of that. So that's a red card for me.
And the red card is out.
So who's your yellow of the week?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think there was good Calcio over the weekend, and a lot of great games. I'm gonna have to, they did win, but I'm gonna have to give a small yellow card for Milan's play over the weekend against Genoa. You know what? I understand the lineup wasn't obviously their strongest, and they had all their players. Obviously, Gattuso was in the tribuna as well. He was up top because he got suspended for a game as well. So Luigi Riccio had to be at on the pitch, conducting the boys over there. But I don't know. For Milan, I just don't like their play. They have to always let other teams kind of take advantage and just, put the pressure on them. And it's something that a lot of Milan fans, I would think, are annoyed by. And they just need to work that out, because it's annoying, and they have to depend on, a brilliant cross by Conti for Borini to score. And then, another magical goal by Suso to score late. So, I mean, they did get the 2-0 win, but they have to really start dominating from, at the beginning and dominate near the end, because their game is just not up to par. So I'm going to have to give a small card to Milan's play.
Yellow card here.
So MVP of the week. I mean, it's pretty much down to two players. So you go first.
For the MVP of the week?
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I'll go with Duvan Zapata.
You're going to go Duvan Zapata, so that means I'm going to go with Quagliarella.
Yeah, it was like a heads or tail toss up there.
There's other names in consideration. I mean, El Shaarawy actually had a really good game. He scored and drew the penalty that led to the second goal.
Yep. Zaniolo, too.
Zaniolo, he had a good game.
Muriel,
obviously 2 goals. Can't forget about that. I was going to say Donnarumma. He made some really good saves yesterday.
He did.
When Genoa was dominating, he made some really good saves.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it doesn't compare to 4 goals by Zapata and then the wonderful efforts by Quagliarella. So I think that's pretty easy to say that's our player of the week.
Yeah, we gave out the obvious ones, but as we also mentioned, the other runners up, I think, would definitely deserve it if these guys weren't playing this weekend.
So we're going to take again another short break on the Calcio guys on the other side of the break. So this week we don't have a guest, so we're going to do something a little bit different.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You're listening to the Calcio guys on CGLO 69. So usually at this time on the Calcio guys, with Adriano Donardo and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni, we usually have a guest. This week, unfortunately, I couldn't find one. So I'm going to open up the phone lines, 514-848-7471. If anyone wants to join in on this conversation, I posted on our Instagram and Twitter.
At the Calcio guys, so
at the
follow
Calcio
us
guys.
there.
Exactly. What's the toughest game you've had to watch as a sports fan? One of those games where your team lost and it took a while for you to kind of bounce back for this. So I say sports fan, but in reality, I want to hear those soccer answers. Johnny messaged me on Instagram. He's in Florida, so Johnny's in Florida instead of this minus 20 Montreal weather.
Yeah, man, what a guy.
He's in Florida, probably plus 20, plus 30. And he said Italy versus France Euro 2000 when David Trezeguet scored the golden goal. When there used to be sudden death overtime in soccer, he said that was one of the hardest things he had to witness. And toughest game. So yeah, he mentioned also something with hockey, but we're not going to talk about that. How about you, Adriano?
I don't know. You can go first, actually. I want to hear what you have to say.
With Juve's success or lack of success in the Champions League the past few seasons, it's kind of hard to decide. But I think one game that's going to stand out in my mind forever is definitely Italy versus Sweden, 2017.
Yeah.
Lack of qualification for the World Cup. That's just something it took a couple of weeks, even a couple of months to just forget about it. You know, it was tough to see Italy lose like that, the way they did. I know we've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
The way they did with 0 goals scored. They lost by 1 goal, especially all those chances that they had against Sweden, missing out on the World Cup. And I mean, somebody asked me at the time, like, why are you so upset from it? It's only sport. I remember thinking, like, imagine you had a passion and it was just taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you followed a rock band that you really liked, and every year they go on tour, and then 1 year, or every 4 years they go on tour, and you love watching them, and then 1 year they don't go on this tour.
Yeah.
So you have to wait another 4 years.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Seeing that was so tough. In terms of Juventus, just because it's newer, I'm going to say the Champions League loss last year against Real Madrid, the way that ended, that was brutal. Seeing Gianluigi Buffon get a red card, knowing that was pretty much his last game in Juventus colors, Champions League colors, was so like heartbreaking for not only a Juventus fan, just a soccer fan. No athlete should go out of their legacy like that. You always want to know or want to hear stories of athletes going out on top. We see that a lot in football. Peyton Manning, possibly Tom Brady, who knows, in 2 weeks from now.
Maybe.
And then Gianluigi Buffon gets the red card, a la Zidane, pretty much.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How about you, Adriano?
Well, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head internationally with the Italy not qualifying for this summer's World Cup, getting out by, a Sweden side that I'm pretty sure most, if not all, Italians would have thought that we would be able to do that, at least score a goal against a Sweden side that, I think we had better quality up top for their defense, and especially seeing that I'm pretty sure their goalie was Robin Olsen, and seeing his play for Roma this season, I mean, it kills me even more because as much as he's an okay goalie, he's a decent keeper. I mean, he's no world-class keeper. He's no top-end keeper. So to see that his play result in the Serie A now after what he did to our nation, it's kind of even worse. It's kind of like more salt in the wound, I find, because I'm like, why can't we just beat him once, twice, whatever it was? Like it just crazy to think that that's what ended up happening, and not to qualify for a World Cup that we've said it before, we'll say it again, that we thought we would never be able to have to say and witness and feel, this type of disappointment and shame and all that. But so I mean, for international, I would like for Italy, I'd probably stick with you on that one. One, I guess, for the club I support, Milan. I mean, it's tough. I mean, they've been obviously, just kind of fallen giants, I guess you can say, from their past up till now, and it's kind of been a rough 6, 7, 8 years of just disappointing football, and not getting into the Champions League is because it was a trophy that they've won so many times, and that they should have that DNA to be there again. And one moment, I guess, that it is a while ago now, but I'd probably say the Milan Liverpool Champions League 05 would, I mean, not to say that I was like glued to the TV watching, but just a moment in the team's history that was just a total disappointment, being up 3-0 against Liverpool with the likes of Maldini and all the stars that they had there at that time. You know what, it was just unacceptable at that time, and it was definitely, you know what, painful for, I'm pretty sure, all Milan fans around the world to witness. So I'd probably say for the club I support, I would probably say that one.
One other game I remember was really tough to digest, let's say.
Yeah.
Italy-Germany, 2016. I know we watched this one together.
Oh, yeah.
And that team, that 2016 Euro team, was supposed to go nowhere. When you have Giaccherini starting that first game against Belgium, I remember we were watching, we were like, why Giaccherini? What's he doing here, you know?
Pele, another name.
Pele, exactly. And then
Eder, another name. Don't even get me started.
That's just a team that had so many injuries too. No Verratti, no Marquisio.
Yeah.
Pirlo was in there.
Yeah.
And then Conte just did wonders with that team. They were all warriors. They played there and they were willing to like fight on the pitch for the Azzurri colors, and they had some magical moments. They beat Spain, and then they go against Germany, and then Bonucci scores the penalty in regulation, and then the game goes to penalty. After all those rounds, it goes down to Hector scoring the game winner that just got underneath Gigi Buffon's arm.
Yeah.
And that was just so devastating because Italy had so many chances to put it away. And then that dancing
Twinkle Toes Zaza.
Twinkle Toes Zaza.
Yeah.
Just skied the shot.
Yeah.
And then that I don't even know what to call it. Pele, he's telling Neuer he's going to chip him. Chip what?
Yeah.
It ended up almost as bad of a shot as Zaza.
Yeah.
And then
I
think who else missed? I think Darmian missed. Deschilio? I don't know.
Deschilio scored.
Deschilio scored.
Yeah.
I think Darmian missed. Well, I mean, you can't blame him. It got so deep in the shootout. Soon enough, Buffon and Neuer were going to be shooting.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That was tough. And especially knowing now, considering now that's the last time they played in a major tournament.
No, it does suck. I mean, but as you said, I think probably the qualification to the World Cup, I think, was a bit worse just because as much as it was, it's sad and it kind of stung a bit in the Euros in 2016. Like you said, I mean, nobody really took that team seriously. I mean, they kind of just were under the radar, I would probably say, and with not many big names and not many players that you would think that would be playing internationally to begin with are in Conte's lineup and you know what, performing well and performing good enough, you know what, to advance and stuff like that. So, I mean, as much as it sucked, I mean, obviously, you know what, you never like to see your nation go out of any tournament. You always want them to win. But I think just because they weren't, I don't know, I guess heavy favorites, or they didn't really have, I wouldn't say as much pressure, seeing that, you know what, they didn't have, you know, the top quality and they weren't, you know what, the number one team, you know. So I would probably say it kind of brought down a bit of the sting, I guess, or a bit of the effects afterwards. But regardless what it was, it still obviously hurt.
So we were talking about this on our way here, Ijano. The Euro edition before, Italy lost in the final against Spain, and even though they lost in the final, I said that one really didn't suck as much, just because they weren't that good of a team, right?
There you go. That's
Italy 2012. You know, Spain was just on fire. That was their era.
Yeah.
And between 2008 2012, I'm just looking at this Euro 2012 Italy roster. Can I redo the names?
Yeah, go for it. I want to have a laugh.
So Gianluigi Buffon, Christian Maggio, Giorgio Chiellini, Angelo Ogbonna, Thiago Motta, Federico Balzaretti.
Oh, deal.
Try not to laugh. Ignazio Abate, Claudio Marchisio, Mario Balotelli, Antonio Cassano, shout out IFTV,
Cassano,
Antonio Di Natale, Salvatore Sirigu, Emmanuel Giaccherini,
yo, he made it.
Morgan DeSantis, Andrea Barzagli, Daniele De Rossi, Fabio Barini, Riccardo Montolivo.
Don't do that face. You deserve to be there.
Leo Bonucci, Sebastian Giovinco, Andrea Pirlo, Alessandro Diamanti, and Antonio Nocerino. So, out of 23 guys on the team, only 8 players heading into the tournament had scored an international goal for Italy. And 2 of them were defenders, Bonucci and Chiellini. Claudio Marchisio went into the tournament with only 1 goal. Ricardo Montolivo also with 1 goal. So out of their forwards, Di Natale had 11, Cassano had 10, and Balotelli had 4. And that's it.
Yeah.
Giovinco didn't score a goal, at least heading into that tournament. Fabio Quagliarella only had 1 cap. He was 21 years old. He only had 1 cap before the tournament. Giaccherini didn't score a goal yet. It's just that team, just was not good.
No, it wasn't. I mean, you named off the players off that squad list, and it's like, really? We really went to a tournament with players like that? I mean, you know what? I guess that period of time, that's what it was, and you know what? You kind of just had to roll the dice with that team, and those are the call-ups that who was it? I think it was Prandelli at the time.
Yep,
Prandelli made, and I mean, did he make the right decisions? Did he make the wrong decisions? You know what? That's whatever. That's up for debate, I guess. But that's what he had to work with. I mean, they did what they did with that team. So I mean, I guess, you know, kudos, I guess. But yeah, I mean, those players. I mean, besides, I don't know, Pirlo, I'd probably say is obviously the only legend. Maybe obviously, you know, Buffon and
De Rossi.
De Rossi too. But the other guys, it's like, are you serious? Like, we went to a tournament with, you know, guys like, I don't know, would you say Balzaretti?
Yeah.
Like, does that? I don't even know if he still plays soccer. So it just
He's 30 years old.
30 years old, and it's like, who knows of him anymore? So whatever. I mean, that's what it was at that time, and that's, you know, the team they put out, and we got the results that we did.
He's not playing soccer anymore. Federico Balzaretti.
There you go.
He retired 3 years after the tournament.
Exactly.
So he was 30 years old at the time. He's 37 now. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
These tournaments. 2012.
What a year.
What a year for Italian soccer. I mean, it was also a transition year because Insigne and Immobile were still playing in the youth teams. Verratti too. They didn't.
Florenzi, probably.
Florenzi also. Yeah. They really hadn't developed yet, and then they were pretty much almost all there 2014, and unfortunately they couldn't play in a World Cup altogether, as we know. Yep. I'm not going to touch upon that probably again for the show. We'll put it this way.
No,
at least for this show.
We should hopefully put it to bed, or else I'm going to start fuming again.
Were you fuming? You weren't fuming that much. I mean, you couldn't win when they lost, eh?
Sorry?
Against Sweden. You couldn't fume that much. You were at work. You had to keep it calm.
I had to keep it calm with the customers, but inside I was gonna explode. But yeah, no. Let's put that to bed and move on to the next chapter.
Anyways, you're listening to the Calcio guys on CJO 1690. I had to put that another little pick-me-upper from Manolas last year, as we were actually talking about the Juventus against Real Madrid. That happened the day before.
Yeah,
Roma against Barcelona,
where they came back
when they, what did he say? Rose from the ruins.
Roma rose from the ruins.
My God, Peter Drury, one of the best commentators out there.
Yeah,
he's just
incredible moment. I think
he's
Champions League history. I would probably say.
I think a lot of fans from other teams would argue of their own moments, especially Chelsea with Drogba, 2012.
Yeah,
there's a lot of different moments. If Juventus managed to beat Real Madrid, Matuidi's goal to tie it up would have been a talking point.
Yeah, that was a big goal.
It was a big goal, regardless. I mean, they came away with a win at the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Matchday 21 in the Serie A, Juventus Lazio. Milan, Napoli. I knew they were playing a bigger team. I was going to say Fiorentina, but that's later on in the season.
Yeah.
Which is your game of the week?
Wow,
don't show your bias.
What do you mean with my game of the week? You already know what my game of the week is. I mean, I don't know. They're both obviously important games. I'm gonna have. I don't know. It's tough, but I'm gonna have to choose the Milan Napoli game, not only from Milan's point of view, but for Napoli as well. You know what? They're obviously in second place, and they're trying to push and trying to squeak by to maybe get into that to get that Scudetto. It's obviously tough. I know they're behind, but they need all the wins they can possibly get. So for them, it's even more important. Milan trying to get into that top 4. So I mean, they need to get these points in the upcoming games. They got it against Genoa, so that's one start. They have to continue going. It's not going to be easy against Napoli. No stretch of the imagination. Obviously, Napoli's a great team, and they've proven so much. But I'm going to have to stick to that game just because both teams are there's something at stake for both teams, I would say.
For me, I'd definitely have to go Juventus Lazio. It's actually going to be Cristiano Ronaldo's first time that he gets to travel to the Stadio Olimpico. But I mean, Atalanta Roma, that's a pretty good game too.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, Atalanta Roma, I mean, that's a middle of the pack race still. So, and Atalanta's been hot. Roma, as we mentioned before, they're still, shaky on that with their defense, and they're still giving up leads and stuff like that. They did obviously win, but you know what? You got to play better than that if you're going to try to stop an Atalanta team that just came off a 5-goal performance over the weekend, and Zapata, that just, as the announcer said before in our clip, can't stop scoring. So I think that will be obviously another tough game. I think it'll be a good battle. I mean, they're both trying to get into Europe, and it should be a dogfight, I would say.
So another game I have an eye on, or a lot of people are going to have an eye on, is Sampdoria Udinese, mainly for Fabio Quagliarella's goal-scoring streak.
Yep.
He could tie, as we said, Batistuta with 11 games in a row for the Serie A record. And that's Saturday at 12. He has to score. I mean, it's at home too. I have a feeling he's going to score in this one.
It would, as we said, it would be nice. I mean, he definitely deserves it. If it's against a team, it's against a team that he can't score against. I mean, Udinese has been kind of a disappointment this season as well. So, I mean, he definitely has, or should be having opportunities to score, and maybe even more than one. So, we'll have to wait and see, as you said, against Udinese there. But I think he can do it.
And looking ahead, if he scores against this one, he could set the record at the Stadio San Paolo in his home province in Napoli, which would be an incredible storyline.
I don't know if they would cheer or boo for him. I don't know, but I think they would cheer.
I would hope they would cheer. I would hope.
Me too.
I would hope so. He's from Napoli.
Yeah.
He played for them a bit, and he obviously had problems. A lot of problems. He came out. He had a stalker. That's why he had to leave Napoli, and I'm sure he wishes he could have played his whole career there.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah,
scoring a lot, but things happen, and he had to go to Sampdoria. So that's looking ahead. We'll be talking about that. If he scores, this weekend, that's going to be all over the headlines. Yeah. I think. Yeah, it's going to be all over the headlines. We can't get ahead of ourselves right now.
No,
but
just cross our fingers. Let's hope he scores.
Cross our fingers. Yes or no, he scores.
Oh, I'm saying yeah.
You're saying yeah.
I'm saying yeah. And
me too.
And I wouldn't even be surprised or shocked if he scores more than one.
Against Udinese?
Yeah, I'm putting that out there.
Of course, against Udinese. They just haven't been good at all this season.
But on the flip side, I will be shocked if he doesn't. I'm almost 100% certain that he will. I don't want to say 100% there, but I would say more likely than not that he'll score. But I'd be pretty darn shocked if he didn't score against Udinese.
My real game of the week, Adriano, is Bologna-Frosinone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, my God. What a game.
Two
of the top teams in the Serie A if you flip around the table.
Yeah. 2019 or something. But there's good games all around. We mentioned a couple of them. Even, I don't know, maybe even Torino-Inter might be a good one. Parma-Spa, I mean, maybe not too much there, but...
That was a good game back on Matchday, too.
The Torino-Inter?
Well, Inter-Torino. It was at the San Siro. That was actually a good game.
Yeah.
It was 2-1 for Inter, or 2-2?
It was close.
Close.
I think you're right.
Belotti scored a really nice goal. One of his rare goals this season.
Here's another one.
He started off the season really well, and we all thought, okay, he's going to bounce back from his terrible year last year. I mean, he was hot at the beginning, but then he really trailed off.
That's another sad story, I find.
Belotti.
Yeah.
Especially after what he did 2 years ago. So it was 2-2.
2-2.
Back on match day 1. You want to go with predictions? We got about 5 minutes.
Sure.
So
Where do you want to start?
You want to start Sampdoria Udinese?
Sampdoria Udinese? I'm gonna go 3-1 Samp.
3-1 Samp?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. In terms of how many goals Sampdoria is going to score.
I mean, I think they can score at least 2 or 3. That's why I'm
let's go
3-1.
2-0. 2-0 Samp.
Okay.
So Solo Cagliari, the first game of the week, Saturday at 9.
It's in Sassuolo against Cagliari. I think Sassuolo can pull that off even without Boateng. I think they can still do that against Cagliari. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park, but I think they can do it. I'm gonna go. I'll go 2-1.
I'll go 1-1 on this one.
1-1.
Milan Napoli. That's tough. You go first.
Myself, I mean,
clearly not a Milan fan.
No, I don't know. The hat, the scarf, the jacket, no. But I mean, I mentioned it before. They need the points. 3 would obviously be better than 1. I mean, I guess I'll take a tie as much as I don't want to take a tie. I'd rather take obviously the win. And I don't really care how we get it. If we get it against Napoli, which they should have gotten it earlier on in the season, where they played a great game against Napoli earlier on in the season. I think they can definitely do it again. It's going to obviously be tough. As I said, I don't care what the scoreline is. I'll just go, you know what, I don't care. A scrappy 1-0 goal. I honestly don't care as long as we get the points. So I'll go 1-0.
So last time Napoli was at the San Siro, was that all that controversy against Inter? I think they're going to be going back with Koulibaly, with Insigne. A little bit of a revenge. I know it's a different team, but same stadium. I say 2-0 Napoli.
Okay.
Chievo hosts Fiorentina, 3-0 Fiorentina.
I'm going to go 4-0 Fiorentina.
Atalanta hosts Roma. I'm going to go 3-1 Atalanta, actually.
I'm going to say 3-2 Atalanta.
Spal travels to Parma. Spal had an emotional draw against Bologna in their derby, but then Parma's coming off a road win. First home game of 2019 for Parma. I'm going to go 1-0 Parma.
I'm going to go 2-0 Parma.
Bologna hosts Frosinone. I don't know. I think Frosinone is going to come away with the win. 1-0.
1-0?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you know what? I'll go with a draw. I'll go 1-1.
Then Torino hosts Inter Milan. It's funny. Sassuolo and Torino, they kind of have similar jerseys this year. At least they're whites because they're both made by Kappa. So I find maybe Inter Milan is going to see those jerseys and kind of panic. Kind of think it's too similar to Sassuolo's, where they lost, or they tied last week. They lost back on Matchday 1.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough for Inter to go to Torino. It's not an easy place to win, even though they're not the best team, Torino.
No. What do you say?
I say it's going to be a 2-2 draw again.
2-2 draw again? Yeah. I was going to go with the draw as well myself. I'll go 2-2 as well, actually.
So Lazio Juventus. I know Lazio defense isn't the best, and this is a tough part of their schedule. They were just in Napoli, then they have to host Juventus. What does Lazio have to do to stop the Juventus defense?
Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, over the weekend, they kind of it was unfortunate because Acerbi got sent off, I think the first time in like 126 games or whatever it was, and crazy streak that he had, and they'll be without him, but it's going to be tough. I mean, I don't think they have, personally, I don't think they have the players to mark the quality that they have over on the other side at Juventus, but I mean, it's going to be hard. You know what? They really got to press, and they got to really press, and they got to really stick to their man, and you know what? Be willing to fight, because Juve is going to be able to, or going to be willing to do that themselves. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to go, unfortunately, with Juve there, but I don't know. I'll go 2-1 Juve.
I think Juventus, it's Ronaldo's first time at the Stadio Olimpico. I think he's going to make a mark on a stadium. He might see a lot for the next few times. It's first time at the Olimpico in the Serie A, playing in the Serie A. I mean, obviously he's played there in the Champions League before. So I say 2-0 Juventus. And then lastly, Empoli, Genoa. Not much. Not too much excitement there. That's the Monday Night Football game, as we like to call it here on the Calcio guys.
Yeah, Monday at 2:30.
I say Empoli comes away with the win, especially after Genoa. Now they lost Piontek. They're just not going to be a good team for the rest of the season.
We'll see.
I
say what?
2-1 Empoli.
2-1 Empoli. I'm gonna go. I'll go 1-0 Empoli.
So that will do it for us. Next week we're gonna have talk about Coppa Italia. So next Tuesday and Wednesday is the Coppa Italia quarterfinals. Some big matchups coming up in Italy. Another big weekend ahead in the Serie A. Records could be set, or at least tied,
Hopefully.
by Fabio Quagliarella.
Let's go.
We just love him here on the Calcio Guys. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the Calcio Guys, and tune in next week.
Thank you. Ciao.